Hey guys, what is up? Hope everybody's doing good out there tonight. I just wanted to have this quick little broadcast. Um, I was just laughing my butt off today, thinking about the shit that just transpired with Trump and some of the stuff that he's done kind of over the last week or so. But it's just more and more like I think about this guy. He's from New York. He had a he had to deal with mafia people. And then he was in Vegas and he knew mafia people. This guy, and I mean I never really looked at him like that. I don't know why, because I guess he was just kind of goofy sometimes, and you were just like, he's just Trump. But this guy is a motherfucking gangster, man. Like this guy's crazy. I mean, he does some shit. I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I saw the thing with the tariffs that came out, and then Trudeau came out all serious. I'll pull a clip on that one. Trudeau comes out and tells the Americans that, well, you put 25% tariffs on us. Well, I've got no other resort than to put tariffs on you. And even repeated it in French, man. That gets serious when you're repeating it in French, I guess, which sounded way more bitchy than the English version, you know. So let me see if I can find that clip real quick. Trudeau puts tariffs on. Let's see, on the U.S. Tariffs on U.S. 1 second. Yeah, this is it. So Trudeau hits back with his tariffs. Let me pull this up. I have to watch the commercial. Damn it. You know what? Why am I here? Hold on a second. I'm sure I can find this on gotta be on YouTube somewhere. There it is. Okay, so I just want the part where there he is. Okay. So this is how everything got sort of played out yesterday. And I'm watching this and I'm just like, holy shit. So first off, I thought it was weird that Trudeau was, he actually looked a little, I was kind of proud of Trudeau a little bit, He didn't look as bitchy as he normally looks, I mean, he actually, for the first time, actually looked, like a good prime minister, like he's standing up for Canada and he's, whatever. I mean, I got to hand it to the guy, he actually didn't look like such a huge bitch. But then he like backed off. He had like this. I mean, the whole scene set up. You get the real serious looking Canadians, but they're Canadians. No offense, but they just they just scowl at you, and it's so funny. It kind of reminds me of that. Remember that? What was the Anchorman, where they had all the news outlets fighting to the death, and they had like Canadian news show up, and like they were real polite. They're like, we're gonna mop the floor with you, and they're like, sorry. Remember that scene? Oh god, it was freaking funny. But anyway, yeah, they just they look like they're just trying to be mad, like because they're Canadian. Just like Canadians are typically pretty nice folks. But here it is right here. So Trudeau is he's imposing his tariffs on the U.S.
Yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I've said before.
I mean, it's something about Trudeau too. Like he doesn't look like he could kick your ass or anything, but he's got that a little bit of psycho in him, where you're like, it's like you kind of worry a little bit, like this guy he's kind of a little unhinged, like maybe a little crazy. Like plus he has that, I feel like he's got some closet homosexuality that's all pent up as well, and he really needs to get that out. But I feel like that could just like boil over at any moment. So I was a little like when he was talking shit, I was like, damn, he's fucking like he's mad. So
If President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
Let's speak now.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, it sounded pretty good there. And, like I said, I give him credit, because he actually, you know, made some good points and I get it, he's gotta, you know, he's gotta do what he's gotta do. Now, a lot of this came because, Trump was saying that, the tariffs, I guess, and see, I don't really know all this. I mean, I don't ship anything worldwide. So what do I know? But supposedly a lot of the countries put tariffs on us to sell our goods in their countries. And we sort of just like, whatever. Okay. And we just accept it, or we don't sell there or whatever. And then the other issue was the fentanyl. And of course the border. He wanted Canada to to step up a little bit and protect the northern border. Okay. Which I didn't really think the northern border was like extremely an issue. Like it was, I don't recall ever really even seeing any reporting on that, to be honest. Like, so I was a little confused. Now the fentanyl part, yeah, because oof, the western part of Canada, man, is really bad with fentanyl. I mean, it's so bad, man. Some of their cities are just ravaged with that, right? So you gotta imagine it could be coming over the border from Canada, sure. So whatever. And so Trump asked him to do a couple things. He's like, no. And then he wouldn't work with Trump. And then Trump posted this crazy shit. Like, this is where I was like, I was like, I couldn't believe he even said this, man. Like, hold on, where is it? Hold on. Let's see. I gotta find where it was. Hold on. Trump basically came out and he posted something about it, and I'm not gonna say it's verbatim. And I was looking for it, and I trying to remember. Let's see here. Was it on True Social? Wait a minute. This is it. He said, and this is where I'm like, dude, you're like a gangster as hell, man. I swear to God. He said, you should become our cherished 51st state. Now, I can't believe you keep bringing that back up. Like, listen, you should really be a part of the family. You like think about this whole mafia thing, That's what I keep thinking. Like, he's like, hey, you need to be a part of the family, He says, look at the benefits, You're gonna have a strong military, lower taxes. And look, no tariffs. That is some shit that you think about moving into like Manhattan or something. You got a little store, and then you're living in a rough, like mafia run area, and then they come in and they rough you up. They ravage your store a little bit, and then they're like, hey, listen, it looks like you need you need some protection. Sorry. Dude, I'm telling you, that's some gangsta ass shit to be like, yeah, you need to join us. You need to be a part of the family. And then he's like, look, you won't have to pay, this way you ain't pay for protection. We got your back. And we don't have to put the tariffs on you. It's like, dude, I was just dying. I was like, man, who the fuck gets away with this shit, man? Like, oh my God. I was dying, man. Dying yesterday. And then like I knew, like, I was thinking Canada would hold out a little bit longer. And and then the Mexican president was talking. I don't know if she really talked tough. She was more like, we'll get back to you. She never really made a statement or anything like talking crazy. She probably just kind of thought it'd be best to just sort of not say anything yet, and then we'll discuss matters. And then apparently she said, "Yeah, I'll send 10,000 troops to the border," and then apparently we got like the Panama Canal back. Are you shitting me? Like that didn't take long. And like, yeah, it's yours. It's back. America has it. I'm like, what? what? And so all these people, man, they just, it's crazy. It's crazy how much power Trump has. And it's crazy what these guys can get done. It's quite amazing, really, when you think about it. And yeah, I was just blown away by all the latest headlines and stuff that's going on right now. I don't agree with him though. Um, you know, like immediately blaming DI for the plane crash immediately. Like, yeah, I think we could wait and see a little bit. I really feel like he kind of screwed that one up. Was she? And that's the thing is a lot of people think DI immediately. You just default to mainly it's the first thing. I mean, that you ask most people with DI is they're gonna think in their mind they're gonna think, oh, it means black people. But it doesn't mean black people. In fact, it actually benefits other people way more than it benefits black people. So, um, but yeah, I mean, he's right. She was a woman, but I've seen a lot of interesting, like, sort of, computer generated reenactments of what happened, especially the one where, they're in the Black Hawk and the airplane is coming at them. It's literally eye level with the lights in the city. You can't even see it coming. It's coming so fast, and it would totally blend into the lights of the city, especially if you're in a night vision, which they were probably running night vision. So it made everything just sort of, bright. So you can't really distinguish how far things are very well with the night vision. You know, you can see your surroundings, but it's kind of hard, especially when there's bright lights over the city. It totally masks that. And that plane, like now you can totally see it. It was more than likely just a random, horrible accident that happened. And I just think Trump should just like he's got to he plays on this 3D, 4D level, man. So he's always looking like he's always so far ahead in his mind, like what he thinks, like what could have possibly, if we weren't doing so much of this DEI hiring and stuff like that and worried about filling quotas of certain demographics in racial ethnicities and stuff like that in racial quotas. He's probably like, he's just thinking, maybe we've missed out on people who are a lot more qualified and didn't matter what they are. But like, obviously could that change things? You know, it's hard to say. You never know. I don't think it was the air traffic controller. That doesn't seem to be a problem. Although I say the air traffic control was, it's a little strange how they just sort of just let the Black Hawk fly around and they're not really giving it much direction. There was some of that I thought was kind of strange, where they're just kind of like, yeah, just there's a plane and use line of sight type thing. And it's like, but also too, apparently the Black Hawk has radar. I found that out as well. So that was another, unfortunate thing. I don't understand why the radar wasn't on. I mean, you should be able to see that there's a plane coming at you because it can detect missiles unless it was all turned off or something like that. But again, that was one of the mishaps I think that Trump made was just going straight after DEI stuff when you, know, you have to go back many years, man, and then come to that conclusion. And yes, it may or may not have had some influence in it because of the pilot, because yeah, she was a woman, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was her fault. Also, what about the people that were there training with her who were males, apparently? So, you know, um, I just, I kind of wish he kind of, he's real bad about jumping to conclusions so quickly. And, kind of, I think he sort of, put his foot in his mouth on this one. But aside from that, just the latest news about this dude, it's like every day, man, it's something crazy. Looks like, what's going on here? In the news, like it says here, Um, see, Trump administration offers a buyout to 2 million federal workers. I don't know what that's all, unless he's talking about like paying them off and then buying them out, buying out their contracts, and then um, you know, that way it's over. It's like he's gonna pay them out and then probably not hire them again. I think that's what that's all about. Let's see, they announced a freeze on all federal grants. Uh, I don't know, just a couple headlines here talking about. I think he signed some more executive orders as well. um, hmm, Protests around Trump's immigration crackdown. Yeah, there's been a lot of protests with the immigration crackdown. I saw on the 101 in LA, they had massive protests where they shut down the highway and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of stuff going on with that. There were a bunch of people too when these tariffs were announced yesterday that went out and started panic buying. That's why you should never panic buy. Um, it's not a good move, man. If it comes down to toilet paper or whatever, but panic buying sometimes, man, you get it right. You're like, yeah. Um, let's see. After tariffs, let's see what we find here. Panic buying begins. Let's see, 12 hours ago. Fear of increased high cost of living due to Trump's tariffs. Yeah. Uh, yeah, a lot of that happening right now. Let's see. Yeah. Just some TikTokers talking about it. I don't know if there's any video evidence of it, but yeah, a lot of stuff happening there. But yeah, I guess it's all going to be all right. Candace said that they're going to secure the border. I can't believe I didn't know Mexico had 10,000 troops to send to the border. 10,000 troops, that's a lot. I don't know what the heck's up with that. I mean, 10,000. I don't even think you need that many, do you? There's only a few places you can really cross. Sounds a little bit like overkill to me, but hey, it is what it is. So they're going to send quite a few. Let's see here. I'm just checking out some comments here. Let's see. They are flying those helicopters in front of the airways for years and training at night there. Yeah, I know, man. I know they are, and that's the thing. It's like, it seems like a really terrible place to, especially if you're moving in front of a runway, to fly right in front of that runway like that. It's kind of a small area, very congested, from what I understand. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. I've heard a lot of pilots say that it's a real mess getting in and out of there at that airport, and I just find it strange that you know it's a like if you're just doing like you can't find another place to fly around in that area. I don't know. It's more it's got a little bit open area. Maybe it's just the fact that you won't be flying over people's homes and stuff, all that kind of stuff. I guess that may be it, but I don't know. I just crazy. They also said the Black Hawk was too high, but damn, I mean, it was only about 300 feet. 300 feet isn't that high, for anything. So I don't know what the ceiling was supposed to be. They said 200. I mean, I get 200. The plane would have probably made it over the helicopter for sure, right? No problem. But damn, that still would have been a close call. 200 feet. I don't know. Oh, there's a lot happening. Less stuff in the news. Let's see here. This is kind of strange. Kanye's back in the news. Man. This fool, he shows up at the Grammys, right? And he goes to the Grammys and he's like, he gets kicked out. Okay. Because I guess he has his new girlfriend, like, she's got a fur coat on. And he's like, yeah, baby, going out there. And she like undresses herself. And she's like butt ass naked, letting people take pictures of her and stuff. I guess that's his whatever thing. So he's so weird, man. I tried, man. I tried, like, okay, come on, man. I get it. You just got out of the Kardashian thing. You're lucky you didn't lop your dick off. Okay. You literally were with Kim Kardashian, like the biggest she devil in the world. You saw what they did to Bruce, bro. You're lucky you came out of that somewhat with the marbles in your head and marbles down there. They take your brains and they take your marbles. They take both marbles, man. The one's on top and one's on bottom. It's the truth. Anyway, so he made it through it, got it. All right, cool. And now he's with this chick. So he goes to the Grammys and he got kicked out because not only did chick undress herself, apparently she wasn't invited. Or they weren't invited. He shows up. I don't even know how he got in. I guess he just talked to somebody at the door, I guess. And hey, oh man, it's Kanye. So here is the clip. Let me share this here. All right, here it is.
Can we see the fashion?
Over the shoulder now.
And let's see the outfit one time, Bianca. Let's see the outfit.
Beautiful.
And over that shoulder one time.
Over the shoulder. What a reveal.
Beautiful. Right there, Bianca. Beautiful. Right
here on the right.
Yeah.
All right. So that pretty much got him kicked out. How he got in, well, that's another story. I don't know. Then we had this one. Oh, the freaking Will Smith's kids are at it again. Dude, his daughter looks like she's legit on drugs or something. I can't even figure this costume out. I don't understand what all this is with the weird black trench coats. I don't understand this. This literally looks like some sort of drug-induced fashion to me. Like, I don't understand it, but maybe I'm just not hip enough. But here's this. Check this out. Will Smith's kids.
Willow, right there. Willow, on your left, shoes a little bit. Over that shoulder, Willow. Willow, can I see the front of it? Willow, straight all the way to your left.
Jesus. Oh, Willow's A of A. And people are like, spread it.
Willow, this way.
Yikes. What the hell is up with the teeth, man? Man. These people are fucking crazy. And you would hope like somehow like Hollywood wouldn't just like, I don't know, man, like not be so weird and get the message that, it's really most people just don't even get into this. This is not really cool. And then I don't know which kid this is. This dude's wearing he's got this fool has a house on his head and comes out in a suit. Like, bro, what in the hell? Jaden, bro, why? This is just what are y'all? I don't really get any of this at all, man. Nor do I want to try to get. I mean, most average people are just like kind of fucking. This has got to be. How do you do this? How do you show up to something like, listen, dog, we're gonna put this black house on your head, make you look like what is this thing? What is this? Like a doily? What is all that shit? And Like he comes out, he's like, yeah, I'll do that. That's great. So that's the I don't know if there was a theme or something. I don't think so. Just weird, man. Lothar says he's probably gonna open up something called Black Castle. You know, it'd probably be a restaurant that would definitely succeed in Hollywood. You know, I mean, it's funny. It looks like a burned up mansion. Is he making reference to the fires that just happened in L.A.? You know, there you go. Yeah, prove you're not a bot. Symbolism could be, could be. That's kind of what I was starting to think. I was kind of going there. You know, I don't know what I don't know what this is all about. Is this just a horrible look, fashion look, like black trench coat and like this just tell I mean this I don't know. I mean, I would expect like a hooker to wear that, but whatever. Hmm. Yeah. There's a lot happening. A lot going on out there. Let me see what else I got. Let me go here. Let me go back and look at well, y'all see. There was a guy posted a video about some of the orbs and some stuff that's still going. You know, Trump came out. That was one of the things he did mention the orbs, and the idea was that yeah, they were the drones. Sorry, he said that the drones were mostly military and some hobbyist drones, but I don't buy any of that. I don't buy the hobbyist part because most people that fly drones, especially in that region, know that you wouldn't want to fly anything like that at night in case the obstacle avoidance systems or the GPS doesn't work. It doesn't always work that great at night, and you could have a flyaway situation, and they were so large that typically most out of all the drones, quote hobbyists out there, only very, very, very small percentage would have drones that large to fly around just willy nilly at night just to freak people out because these things were huge. So I just think that most of it was military. And then what about the orbs? What about those? What about the morphing and all the shit that we saw? So I'm just saying, I think there's more going on. And I'm gonna try to see if I can't find one of my videos here that I was watching last night discussing some of this stuff. I got into a video yesterday. I was like, yeah, I got caught up on this one, like 45 of the best like tools that you want to own or some shit like that. Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, man. That was pure tool porn. And it was greatness. I was like, oh my God, there were so many like cool tools that were going. It was so awesome. Hmm. I'm looking here to see. Oh, shoot. Give me a second here. Let me pull this down. I had to put this over here real quick and see if I can't find that video clip. I got to go to my history list. Okay. Do you know that Beetlejuice, they suspect Beetlejuice, the star, is supposed to supernova pretty soon? They're not sure when. It could have already happened. You know, it's like, I don't know, whatever. If you go by the astronomy and stuff, it's like, a couple hundred light years away, right? So it could have happened like, I don't know, like 300 years ago or something. And the light from it will eventually get to us. And they think it's about to happen. So it's going to go supernova, you know, big old Beetlejuice in the sky, and it should be, that'd be crazy if we get to see that. So there's a person I saw that was actually filming it every night, waiting for it to supernova. And you can get on there and just sort of wait around. You just watch a red blob on the screen. Yeah, you know, it's it's an interesting thought concept. I mean, you know, it'd be cool to see something like that. I've been a big fan of, you know, these events like that, like eclipses and whatnot. Um, let's see here. We'll get into. Okay, I found this one, guys. Yeah, this is one of the videos here. 1 second. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, we'll go through some of his videos. I hope he's going to show some. He always shows like some of the best, the latest drone stuff from like TikTok and X and stuff. And haven't really checked on the drones in a while, so we'll watch a little bit of this together. See what he's got. All right, here we go. And booyah, here we go.
The devil are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking, mate. Today, we're looking at a channel that has a particular set of skills that make them a nightmare for the paranormal. Okay? The channel is Paranormal Nightmare TV. Now,
of course, nobody showed up. That was like one of the biggest first things that's happened, and that was like within the first month I was here. A lot of crashing sounds, and then you go and you couldn't find it. It went from that to having instances where my bed shakes. They've gotten kicked or shaken so hard I ended up on the floor.
Jesus, that's like a poltergeist.
All right, so he's starting out Ghost Girl here. I was like, dude, I don't know. Some people like that. I think you got a demon. Ashley is what I think's going on. And if you check a lot of these people, you find out that they were dabbling in shit. Like, dude, they always do. Every single time. It's never just your run of the mill people that get haunted. It's always people that are fucking around. FAFO. You know what I'm saying? They're out there. They're like, oh, yeah, you know, I like messing with Ouija boards and I got a book of spells and blah, blah. You know, and then all of a sudden you catch a demon. That's how it happens. But they always like, then they'll have a show like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, that chick, I bet you that chick is dark. She's darker than hell. And they're going to like, I'm sure that shit, man, I'm sure they are recording something. Let's see.
She's all right. I will tell you this, where I have completely cleansed homes and I have gotten rid of entities before, this is not one that I was ever able to shoo out the door. He's not going anywhere, and he feels that there's nowhere good for him to go. I think he's afraid that...
Yeah. Let me see.
I feel like he feels there's nowhere for him to go. He's going to be judged.
Okay, so we're here at Lynn's house right now. So we're going to...
There's probably some shit I shouldn't be watching before I go to bed. Legit. Oh, man.
Move around upstairs and set one of our alarms off, please. Can you knock on something upstairs?
See, I don't know why people like, you know, like people that do this, man. I really dealt with some of that paranormal stuff for a good minute after the Mandela, whatever. And I tell you, it was weird. I really wasn't afraid of it though. It was almost kind of like meh, but not like I really cared to have that shit messing with me. You know what I mean? Like it happened, and it was like whatever. I didn't ask for it. It just was there. I think it had something to do with the Mandela effect itself, that time period in our history. I think there was a lot of spiritual shit happening to a lot of people. May not even realize it. But yeah, I didn't really, care for it. I thought it's so weird though. I was fine. I never got freaked out, even after I saw what I saw and I heard what I heard. And I mean, I heard some shit now. I heard stuff get thrown around in the shop. So, I mean, like, it wasn't even, it just got thrown so hard, like with so much anger. And I remember thinking, dude, that was weird. And I thought, well, something must have fell. And then I heard it again and again. I think maybe 2 or 3 times. Then the television would go on, turn itself on. Fuck. The black masses I would see go by the doors. It always seemed like they were staring at me, like from the door. I was like, what the fuck? And I turned my head really fast. I'd see something move backwards, like behind the doorway or something, like it was looking at me. It's fucking up. It was really fucked up. Like I remember just being like, oh, whatever, you know. I think I was in such a state of shock with the whole Mandela thing. Like that stuff didn't even bother me. Like I had bigger things to worry about, man. Worry about your disembodied, ghostly ass. I don't even care. Like it didn't bug me. But I wasn't about to grab a damn Ouija board. I wasn't about to do spirit boxing or whatever so I could talk to the damn thing. Like, no, I'm good. I'm not. No. Anyway, so I guess this is his main spiel. Like they're talking about. We'll watch a little bit of this. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't know what I believe. Because I believe a lot of these times, dude, it's like I've seen some of these quote ghost videos that look kind of sus, like it could be set up, right? So you never know, too. So I don't know.
Did you murder your wife inside this house?
I would start up in the game now. I'd start to try to piss it off a little bit, get a bit of a reaction.
Can you come down here with us? I'm gonna leave this camera here. We're gonna come upstairs.
Fucking hell, mate!
This is the room where the little girl was attacked. Who touched the little girl in this room? Come forward and show yourself.
Feels real heavy in here.
I have a hard time breathing in here.
So it's like my chest's real tight.
You like touching women? It's even got a weird smell in here.
Yeah.
Now this is the room that the bed would shake.
Because a lot of psychics get that, don't they? When they
All right. So I didn't know what this dude had going on today. Usually he's been showing like the latest clips, like I said, of like the UFOs and orbs and stuff. So anyway, this one was interesting. I thought this was a great story.
It was the summer of.
It was. Here it is right here. The Y-Files. Did you see this one? This is the disappearance of Peter Williamson. I couldn't get enough of this story. It was just so intriguing. So, especially ones like this, man, where it's like, oh shit, that is so weird. Because he mentioned things that so many people around me, just like people that were, that used to watch the channel, especially in the beginning of the channel. Like I had so many stories and emails where people were sharing their experiences with me, and like some of this stuff happened to them, and it's just a little odd. But what happens? I'll play this, but I want to just kind of set it up. This dude is at a party, and he is struck by lightning. And when the lightning bolt like nails him, he just dematerializes. He literally is vanished. He's gone. Nobody can find him. They look all over for the dude. Like, I think he's gone for like 3 days. While he's gone, he's in his mind, he's somewhere else, and he's like, it appears like he must be in another dimension, and he recalls feeling really out of sorts, like things were there and moving, but like he would see like people like change form, and they would they would be different people like as they walk by him, or he would see what looked like heat rising, and it would in like a distorted sort of world, but he was in this, it was almost like a waking dream almost. Now remember, in our reality, he's gone, he disappeared, and then in his reality, he actually this man picks him up, and he turns out he was a doctor, and he took him to the hospital where he actually got checked out, and then he eventually left the hospital, walked back to the area where he was picked up originally, and then I don't remember if he just felt tired or whatever, or fell asleep, but anyway, he woke back up. He woke back up. When he did, he was back in the reality that he left. And it was like, this was all apparently documented. They were looking for the guy, they couldn't find him. Now, one might say, well, okay, he made the story up, man. He hid and he did all this. There's a lot of other stuff that surround the story. It's so interesting. So we'll watch part. It's only 29 minutes long, but I don't know how much we'll watch of it, but it's really good. And anyway, it's a good one. Here it goes.
It was the summer of 1974 in Somerset, England. Peter Williamson was flipping burgers on the grill when a storm rolled in. His wife, kids, and guests ran to the patio to stay dry and keep the party going. Peter packed up the grill as the rain came down harder. When the thunder and lightning started, everyone laughed nervously. When a lightning bolt split a tree next door, people stopped laughing. It was then that his kids noticed their dog was still out in the yard, cowering under a bush. Peter told them to stay put and ran out to get the dog. He was halfway across the lawn when lightning hit again, this time even closer. Peter's friends and family saw his silhouette against the flash. Then he was gone. He just vanished. 3 days later, he reappeared in his backyard. But everything was wrong.
Please, no souvenirs in the sea chest.
Yeah, human! Where's the teapot that we keep the bloopers in?
Why do you need a teapot?
I'm recreating Wonderland!
Is that why there's playing cards all over my house? My wife nearly slipped and broke her neck.
She's fine. It's immersive decor. You wouldn't get it. You're not a visionary.
Please stop turning my house into a dollar store casino.
Yeah. On your way home, I need you to pick up a croquet set, a hedgehog, and some flamingos if you can.
If it's immersion you want, why not play Alice's Adventure in Raid?
Raid?
Yes, I did. 30 plus body or mental year and you're a cat. Logged in, Devin. March 26th, Fear the Crazy and Mo are linked to refill locked. There might be more to reality than we think, or there might be more realities than we think. It splits with every choice we make. Whoever proposed this in 1957 with his many worlds theory of quantum mechanics. Picture an electron spinning in every direction at once, superposition. Traditional view says measuring it forces it to choose one direction. Everett disagreed. He said the electron keeps spinning in all directions, but in different universes. Each measurement splits reality, creating infinite parallel worlds. That means there are infinite versions of you out there, and every version of you results from the billions of choices that you make. So there's a reality where you're the president of the United States. There's one where you're a movie star. There's one where you're on death row.
So there's a universe out there where I didn't get married?
Yep.
That lucky son of a...
Okay, take it easy. A few months ago, Google unveiled Project Willow. a 105 qubit quantum computer that solves problems in 5 minutes that would take the world's fastest supercomputer 10 septillion years.
That's a 1 with 25 zeros following it, or a timescale way longer than the age of the universe.
How does it do that? Because quantum computers might be combining computing power across parallel universes. It sounds like science fiction, but the math works. Then in 2014, the many worlds theory got an upgrade. Physicists from Griffith University said that parallel universes not only exist, they interact through gravity. That electron spinning up and down, it's two universes merging briefly, each with its own version of that electron.
Okay. So imagine if they were able to, like, what if they could manipulate our reality? Because you do know that once CERN spins up, apparently it has a greater gravitational pull than the Earth itself, right? And supposedly that's what they say. The electromagnetic pull of CERN is so great that it actually is greater than the Earth itself. That's what I've heard. Am I wrong? I don't know. But let's just say something like that happened and you were able to pull, if they're doing this through gravity. I found it really interesting. You know, is it possible that you could pull in something closer? Well, then in 2016, explain to me why Orion was fucking 50 times larger in the sky. Why did the stars all look like they were moved around and it looked like we were closer to that constellation? How is that possible? How is that possible? And now I look at it today and it's starting to look normal again, like we're moving farther and far away from it, like we're going back. I find that really strange that we were so close to something like that. And there's no way that I know what I saw. I know that I saw it come up over the horizon. I know I saw the belt like larger than I've ever seen anything ever. There's no way you could even, if you took a camera and you tried to take a picture of Orion in the sky, you wouldn't have gotten the whole thing in the sky. It was so big. You could probably maybe only get, I don't even think you could probably get 2 stars from the belt in it, right? And then how would you get the entire, how would you get the whole constellation in a photograph? There's no way you could have done it. It was so magnified in the sky. So then I started thinking about, like, man, did they pull in, like, is it possible that that's what happened with the Mandela effect? Is it possible that if this is real, if they believe in multiple realities, is it possible that somehow another reality was pulled in closer to us and there was some sort of exchange between the two? And this is what took place, and why we had all these different memories, or why things were, and then when things were maybe pulling back, like there was some sort of back and forth, some sort of vibrational thing that was happening where, yes, for a time period it was one way. It was, Apollo 13, right? Houston, we have a problem, or Houston, we've had a problem. Or, you know what I'm saying? But then it went back to the way we remember it, like for most people. And there was so many of these flip-flop, what we call a flip-flop, right? And so maybe it was sort of like, sort of reverberating between one and the other before it decided on whatever. But something happened where I think somehow they merged a reality with another one. It almost seems that way because I met too many people that 100%, in my opinion, I trust that they weren't. At first, I just thought everyone's just fucking being brainwashed to a point where they just don't remember. Somehow they got erased, and that these people that believe in this reality or believe it in another way from what I had really experienced in my life, I thought, my God, they must not understand what took place. They don't understand it at all, and they somehow it just didn't stick with the few that were out there saying, holy shit, what the hell just happened to Star Wars, or what happened to any of them, right? It's just weird shit. So I don't know. And then I started thinking, like, is that what they fucking did with CERN? You know, because it was about 2008 when things started getting really, weird. And then, of course, we were coming up on 2012, and you know, these um these things that took place, and again, just turning it on in 2008 probably didn't do much, but playing around with it, you know, maybe maybe trying to make it stronger and stronger, whatever they were up to. I wonder if they actually inadvertently caused something like this to happen, right? If you believe in the idea that there are multiple millions or many worlds theory, it's many worlds theory. So I don't know. I mean, just talking out loud here, because when he mentions this, I was like, shit, dude, this sounds like if you were to do this and you were to pull another reality based off slight changes in whatever your decisions, and now it's strange because then it's like, yeah, we all sort of make decisions every day, and they affect the reality you're in to some degree, and then that person's reality, I guess, could be, changed if you were pulled into or drawn into another one that was closer. I mean, how weird is that? I mean, I've met lots of people that totally were like different, you know, and almost like they were different people altogether. The weirdest shit. Same persons. I mean, like, look alike. They look the same, but boy, their whole attitude was different. So anyway, yeah, lots to unpack, but let's listen to it.
This is the many interacting worlds theory. Again, the math works, and this theory could explain everything from quantum tunneling to zero-point energy to human consciousness. And I've been thinking about doing a video on quantum consciousness, but it's a brain buster, so let me know if you want me to cover it or I should just stick to aliens.
Yeah, stick with the aliens, Poindexter.
But here's where the many interacting worlds theory gets dark. The Griffith team warns that when parallel worlds get too close, quantum effects intensify. Electromagnetism becomes unpredictable. Entangled particles become unentangled. Superposition breaks down. This could cause other realities to cross into ours, where things could exist in two places at once. There's only one known natural phenomenon that can produce enough energy to do this: lightning. Mary Williamson screamed. Her husband vanished in a flash of lightning. No burn marks, no footprints, no body. Peter was just gone. The police searched everywhere: the house, the property, and the neighborhood. At first, they thought the lightning had thrown him from the yard, but it was surrounded by high walls. The only exit was a locked gate. The key never left Mary's pocket. 16 people gave the same eyewitness statement. Peter was struck by lightning and disappeared.
Yeah,
That makes it really sound pretty legit, I mean, if this story is true and 16 people gave their eyewitness accounts to this, I mean, that's a lot of people that sort of go in on a lie, you know what I mean? Not to say they didn't, whatever. But I mean, it's a lot of people that are sort of convinced to lie to cops and pull this off, right? I mean, because he could technically just been hiding somewhere and then he shows back up, right? But the whole thing with the lightning and everything, I mean, how do you plan that? How do you plan that? And this goes along with the stories we heard in the past about, people that have that sort of like, I think about that one guy, what was it? The one guy that ended up in South America or something like that? Or was it, or where did he end up? I can't remember, but there was a story like in the 1500s where some guy, famous story, where he was leaning against the wall. He kind of fell asleep and he woke up in like another region of the world. It's like, holy fuck. And he had to figure out his way to get back. And it took him months to get back home, like type of thing. The man from Torin, that's another famous story. Very interesting, and then he just sort of disappeared out of the jail cell. I think, is that what happened to that dude? Yeah. There's all these weird stories where from time to time people get sort of crossed over, right? And we've heard this before. Anyway, I thought it was a really interesting. I've never heard this one, so I thought this is good. Let's finish.
people would do anything to get out of a dinner party.
I know I would. The police insisted Peter climbed over the 8-foot wall. They said the lightning flash blinded witnesses longer than they remembered. The officer said if Peter had been hit by lightning, he might have a concussion or amnesia. He'd eventually show up at home or the hospital, but he didn't.
Oh, I want to bring up. Yes, thanks for that, Lothar. I don't know. It might be just an urban legend thing. Is it? I don't know. But I do know that for a while there, remember in 2016, maybe it was maybe a little before 2016, but there were so many people that were in a coma, like a lot of stories of these people that were in a coma, and then they got out of the coma and they spoke like Mandarin Chinese. You know, they spoke a whole different language, and they like they were like, yeah, well, they were studying. Like there was an Australian guy, I think, who was studying Chinese. He didn't know anything, you know. But then when he woke up, he spoke it fluently, and it was like, wow, that's a very hard language to learn, especially in a coma. And so that was really strange. And then he knew it, like he felt so connected with the language, and I guess you know that he actually moved to China. I think that was one part of the story, if I remember correctly. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. And so there was a couple of those stories, which I thought were so strange because I'd never heard anything like that happening until like right after Mandela Effect. And then it was almost like while they're in a coma, when something happened, like it's almost like another personality came out. Okay. And just because, and it's not like, and some of them had a little bit of fascination with the language or with the people or whatever that, and I think there was a couple others. There was a French speaker, I think, and a couple others that did it too. So it wasn't just one. I think it was a couple, maybe a handful. So those are strange instances of things that happen about that time period that make you really scratch your head because it didn't really keep happening. So why doesn't it happen more often? So it seemed like an influx of these people waking up speaking different languages. So
Mary's friends watched the house all night. No Peter. No hospitals reported anyone matching his description. An alert went out on national television. Still nothing. At this point, the police told Mary she should probably prepare for the worst. She didn't take this well. But on the third day at about 8 a.m., she heard the gardener frantically calling for her. Mary ran outside. Peter was sitting on the grass near the bushes in a daze. She hugged him through tears of joy, and then she noticed something strange. It rained in Somerset for 2 days. Everything was wet, but Peter's clothes were completely dry. And then she noticed those weren't his clothes. Mary took Peter to the hospital immediately. Aside from amnesia, he was perfectly fine. He barely remembered the barbecue. He didn't remember the lightning, and he had no idea where he was during the past 60 hours. Mary asked him where he got the new green corduroy pants he was wearing. He didn't remember that either.
You go missing for 3 days and show up in the wrong pants. The wife is going to have some questions.
She did, but she believed Peter was telling the truth. So did the doctors. This was just amnesia.
Yeah, what the cops say?
Well, the police were pleased with themselves. Peter was struck by lightning and had amnesia, just like they said.
Yeah, right. Just another case of the mysterious corduroy lightning that zaps you with new pants.
Yeah, the police didn't explain it. Peter was home, and they considered the matter closed. Peter stayed in the hospital for about a week and went home feeling perfectly fine. But he still had no memory of where he was. But a few days after returning from the hospital, Peter started having strange dreams. At first, he saw only brief glimpses of scenes. He was in the rain, frightened, and walking down a road. Someone stopped to help. Then the images started coming to him while he was awake. At first, he thought he was hallucinating, but they felt like memories. He just couldn't piece it together. He remembered a kind doctor. The doctor found him on the side of the road. He almost remembered his name, but not quite. Then he was in a hospital, a different hospital. The hospital staff asked his name, but he didn't know. His clothes were torn. There was another patient in his room. Then he remembered. Pants. The other patient loaned him the corduroy pants because his jeans were torn apart. That memory hit, and Peter jumped up and ran to his bedroom to see if the pants were there. He didn't expect them to be, but there they were. The label inside said the tailor was Herbert Fox, who had a shop a few towns over. The label also had the letters JB sewn into it. Inside the pockets, he found a pack of cigarettes. He didn't smoke. The brand was Senior Service, the same brand that James Bond smoked. He knew the brand, but the logo was wrong. He found a handkerchief, also monogrammed with the letters JB. Peter finally had a lead. If he could find this JB, he would have answers. JB wasn't much to go on. That's pretty common initials. But a tailor named Herbert Fox a few miles away, there would be only one of those. So the next day, Peter decided to pay him a visit. Peter Williamson didn't sleep at all that night. Finding the clue inside the label of the corduroy pants caused his memories to come rushing back. By the time the sun came up, Peter had pieced together everything. Well, almost everything. He remembered waking up in a yard or a garden, but he didn't recognize it. He just knew it felt wrong. He didn't know where he was. He didn't even know who he was. Soaking wet, he stumbled around until he found a road and decided to rest. He didn't know how much time had passed, but eventually a car stopped. The driver offered him a ride. He was a nice man, a doctor, Dr. Nugent.
The news!
Right. Dr. Nugent was concerned and took him to the hospital. It wasn't Somerset General. It was a small local hospital. He was admitted to a section called Pritchard Ward. It was a nice place, but something felt off. Sometimes Peter would see a shimmering in the air, like heat waves rising off the pavement. And through the waves, he'd see different furniture, different walls, even different people. A nurse would walk past, and for a split second, she'd be a completely different person. The clock on the wall showed 3:15, then 2:45, then 3:15 again. His voice sounded strange too. It was sluggish where everyone else was speaking quickly and crisp. When Peter tried to keep up with their pace, his words just sounded garbled. Peter mentioned these symptoms to Dr. Nugent, who ordered concussion tests. They found nothing wrong.
This is what the doctor ordered. This is what the doctor ordered.
What was that?
Somebody out there gets it.
The following day, Peter wanted to go for a walk, but the nurses told him his jeans were too damaged to salvage. So the man in the next bed offered his spare pair of brown corduroys.
The lightning pair.
Exactly.
I thought they were green.
They were, but in Peter's memory, the pants were light brown, not light green. Anyway, the pants fit, and Peter remembered the label clearly, Herbert Fox, with the initials JB sewn into it. Peter spent the day exploring the hospital grounds. The place felt familiar, although he knew he'd never been there before. The next morning, feeling stronger but no less confused, Peter decided to retrace his steps. He walked back along the road where Dr. Nugent had found him. Everything felt familiar, but he didn't know why. Then he saw it. The yard where he first woke up. As soon as he touched the gate, everything went dark. When he opened his eyes, he was lying in his own backyard. The gardener was shouting for help. The grass was soaking wet, but his clothes were dry. In his pocket, he had a pack of Senior Service cigarettes he'd never bought and a silk handkerchief with unfamiliar initials. When Peter was admitted to the hospital, his wife brought him clean clothes from home. He hadn't thought about those corduroys since then. But here he was, driving to the town of the tailor who made them, Herbert Fox. Peter would finally get some answers. When Peter arrived, he asked some of the locals if they knew the tailor, Herbert Fox. They said they knew him well, but there's no way those pants were from his shop.
Why not?
Because it burned down over 20 years ago. Peter arrived back home bewildered. He couldn't explain the corduroy trousers.
It is frustrating when you can't explain your pants.
Now, about this time, Colin Parsons, an investigator and writer, connected with Peter. This story comes from him. He interviewed Peter and Mary personally. He also spoke to the witnesses who saw Peter disappear. Colin took an interest because, to him, it sounded like Peter had slipped into an alternate reality. Peter had trouble believing this, but the evidence started to mount. Researchers were able to track down the monogram JB. The initials belonged to John Blackwood, a regular customer at Herbert Fox's shop. In Peter's reality, John Blackwood died in a mining accident in 1953. But JB's pants were new. In the other reality, JB was still alive, and Herbert Fox's shop didn't burn down. And there was more. Colin was able to track down the manufacturer of the pants who agreed to take a look. They confirmed that Herbert Fox's shop did exist, but it burned down in the 50s and never reopened. They said the zipper was designed in 1968, 14 years after the tailor shop was gone. They said the stitching was authentic. It used their production techniques, though they had no record of this design. They confirmed the material was new. They even asked to be notified if Peter ever found Herbert Fox. They'd never seen that color green before and wanted to use it in production.
Oh, easy. Just get hit with lightning and travel to another dimension.
Peter didn't believe in the multiverse theory. He was sure there was a reasonable explanation for what happened. He just needed to find someone who knew him from the hospital, but Peter was at a dead end. The weeks went on and his memories of the other hospital came back. He could remember every detail of the experience, the layout of the hospital, the sounds and smells of Pritchard Ward. He knew the price of tea in the cafe. He remembered Dr. Nugent taking care of him. He remembered all the tests. He knew all the nurses' names. But at this point, he didn't know if he was losing his mind. After learning he had clothes from a tailor who didn't exist, he was afraid to tell anyone what he was going through. He tried to forget about it. Then, about a month later, he was talking to a friend who just had a minor surgery. The name of the doctor came up.
Wait, was it?
Yep.
The Nuge!
Peter's friend's doctor was Dr. Nugent. Peter was so excited and relieved he was almost moved to tears. He started peppering his friend with questions. Was Sister Charles there? Was the cafe there? Was there a Pritchard Ward? Peter caught himself and apologized. And then he grabbed his car keys. The small hospital was less than a mile from Peter's house, though he'd never heard of it. As he pulled up, everything felt familiar. It was like deja vu, but much stronger. He knew he was here. At the front desk, Peter asked for Dr. Nugent. He half expected the receptionist to say there was no such person, but instead she said, "Wait here." A few minutes later, Dr. Nugent appeared looking exactly like Peter remembered. Peter jumped up to greet him, but the doctor didn't recognize him. Peter explained his disappearance and his memories of the hospital. Dr. Nugent was patient and listened, but he said he hadn't had an amnesia case in 5 years. He said Peter's subconscious might be creating memories to fill the gaps caused by his amnesia. Peter probably learned about the hospital from overhearing conversations. After all, Dr. Nugent was his friend's doctor. Peter insisted he knew too many details, the building layout, Pritchard Ward, everything. The doctor saw how frustrated and upset Peter was. He showed Peter the intake forms from the night he was admitted. His name wasn't on it. His name wasn't anywhere. Peter left the hospital and got back in touch with Colin Parsons. He wanted to know more about this alternate reality theory. Colin was convinced it was no theory. Peter was at that hospital, just in another reality, transported there by lightning.
There is no doubt that Peter did disappear in full view of his guests, and that he walked into another dimension, an alternative universe, whatever name you choose. I stayed with the family over a weekend, and we went through the whole experience together, with some of the witnesses to the original vanishing.
To Colin, the strongest evidence was the cigarettes. Anyone could sew an old label onto new pants, but it's much harder, especially in 1974, to create a fake pack of cigarettes from a well-known brand like Senior Service. The evidence was the Senior Service logo. It was a little bit off. What Peter and Colin are describing is a Mandela effect. These are shared memories that are wrong.
I like how everyone remembers the moon landing.
We're not doing this now.
Fake moon landing link down in your loot chute.
The name comes from Nelson Mandela. Millions remember him dying in prison and watching his funeral, but that never happened.
Link to all kind of episodes about that down in your sock drawer underneath the nudie bags.
There are theories of quantum physics that say parallel universes are real and they can interact. And we know lightning is powerful enough to disrupt quantum systems. So next time you hear thunder, pay attention. Make sure everything looks right and that your memories are the truth. Remember, there are infinite versions of you out there who just ask the same question. Infinite versions of you looking into the same storm and imagining that lightning is the doorway to another dimension. And of those infinite versions of you that exist in the multiverse, there's at least one of them out there who wants to steal your pants. The story of Peter Williamson is perfect for paranormal forums and YouTube channels. A man vanishes during a lightning strike. He returns 3 days later with impossible evidence. The story is often attributed to Jenny Randles, who mentions it in her 2002 book, Time Storms. No primary sources are cited. But I found the primary sources. Before Time Storms, the Peter Williamson story appeared in the book Supernatural Vanishings by Rodney Davies. That was 1996. He got the story from Colin Parsons' book, Encounters with the Unknown, True Accounts of Modern Paranormal Experiences. Parsons said he interviewed Peter and Mary Williamson and the witnesses. He said he tracked down the clothing company. Parsons does a great job of mixing hard science and quantum theory with the Peter Williamson disappearance. It's the perfect mystery. But is it true? Well, despite the claim that there was national news coverage, no newspapers from Somerset in 1974 mention his disappearance. No police records. No property records or census show a Peter Williamson living in the area. Some YouTube videos and podcasts have added to the story, like JB standing for John Blackwood, who allegedly died in 1954. That's not mentioned in the original story. I searched everywhere for more information about Colin Parsons. All I could find is that he wrote 18 crossword puzzle books. No other investigative journalism, if that's what you want to call it. His book, like the others I mentioned, rehashed the same urban legends over and over. They just put their own spin on it.
Wait, isn't that what we do? Uh-huh.
Shut up. But here's where it gets interesting. The physics behind the story is real. The many worlds interpretation and the many interacting worlds concept are legitimate scientific theories. They have math to support them. There's no direct evidence to prove the multiverse exists, but it would explain things like Bell's theorem, which shows entangled particles influence each other instantly, no matter how far apart they are. Science can't explain that. We know particles appear and disappear and reappear. They have to go somewhere. Google really did post about Project Willow saying that, and this is a quote, "It lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes, in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse." That statement got them a lot of attention. It also drew a lot of criticism. Now, I don't know if they're right, but I don't know if anybody does. Richard Feynman famously said, "I think I could safely say that nobody understands quantum mechanics." He said that in 1964. We're no closer to understanding how quantum mechanics works. We just know that it does. I think quantum mechanics could answer every question about the universe and our reality, but it's possible, even likely, that we're not meant to understand it. Werner Heisenberg said, "The universe is not only stranger than we think, it's stranger than we can think." In other words, it's beyond our ability to comprehend. Now, that might be frustrating to some people. They want answers. They want to know how it works. I'm not one of those people. I actually find it comforting that the fabric of our reality is governed by a sophisticated framework that's intellectually out of reach. It makes me think that there's something bigger out there driving this thing, that we're part of a plan, that our lives have meaning. And because of this, I'm comfortable with my place in the universe, no matter which one it is. Thank you so much for hanging out today.
All right. So there you go. Now, is the story true? Well, it may not be, but I love those stories. They're so cool. And makes me really think, what if, what could happen if somehow we could, tap into another reality or experience another dimension, at least for a little bit. I know that I've seen things that have defied all logic when it comes to, it defies all logic when it comes to, just natural phenomenon that you think that you can just explain away. I mean, when with witnesses, and going back to those times before the Mandela effect, knowing that at least from like I'd say about 2011, things were so strange. I remember thinking that God, something huge is about to happen, and and this is gonna be so monumental and so big. I remember telling everybody, I literally I like turned into a hippie. I was so weird. Like I remember I just, all of a sudden, like overnight, like I just, I don't know, it was weird. Like all the things I cared about for a little while just had to be put on hold because there was something so powerful, something so I felt so monumental coming towards us, that I was ready to just kind of not worry about everything else. It's kind of very freeing to just be like, whatever, I'm just gonna I'm gonna let the universe handle it, right? I'm gonna let God handle it. And like, yeah, man, like I totally just like chilled the F out and just kind of was waiting for for these moments to sort of take place, waiting for the sign, I guess, the moment that would be you know, the antithesis of what I created with the Mandela effect and in my channel and everything else. And it was just, I knew it was going to happen. And I knew. And I remember sitting there about a month to 6 months before the Mandela effect really took hold. I remember, God, the energy was so different in the world too then. But I remember also thinking, gosh, when is this going to happen? When am I going to? When is that thing going to take place that I know is coming? Like I like literally like a kid. You're like imagine you're waiting for Christmas in a way. You're like, oh man, I'm waiting for that thing. When is that thing going to happen? I know it's going to happen. I just knew, and then the Mandela and then it hit, and then after that, I was prepared. I was just prepared. I just knew we're about to see some major life changing things and major changes in our world. And was it going to be like nothing we've ever seen before? But prior to that, experienced like so many things with the roomies, and we've experienced a lot of things together with the sky and seeing like, just seeing things, man, like getting to experience all the, like, I don't even know if you're gonna call it paranormal, just on some of the levels, man. There was just so many weird things. Orbs, that the night that the sky opened up, experiencing that. I'd never really, been the orb sort of person. It's like I don't really get into orbs and stuff like that. I can speak on this because I was so far away from that. You know what I mean? I was like, I wasn't really you know, that, I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird. I didn't really want to even, wasn't ready, nor did I care to even participate in stuff like that, really. I just knew something was going to, be pretty big. And then I see the orbs and then they're flying around and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm showing a reveal in the sky where with my roommates, we could see, which looked like at some of the reality above us where you could see like these shadows flying above us. They were like birds and they were moving really fast. And at first I thought, oh my God, I must be like losing my shit here. I'm seeing this. So I asked the roomies, I said, do y'all see what look like giant birds moving extremely fast in not like in between the darkness of the sky and the moonlight? Do you see that? And they're like, yes, but I didn't want to say anything. And I was like, fine, okay, let's all focus and look at this one area of the sky. When you see it, yell out. And by God, if we didn't all yell out at the same time, the exact same time we yelled out when we saw these things. So I know it was three of us. That's my witnesses. And I know that we experienced that event together, as well as the event where the sky opened up and we saw thousands of what looked like, I can't just, I always say it's so hard to describe. It's like, imagine seeing a fireworks show, But imagine it covering the entire sky. And then I saw this red glow. It just envelop us like this. It started off to the corner of my eye, and it was like a reddish orange sort of explosion, but it was more like imagine a light that just kept growing and growing, and it just envelops you, and then it was all gone. And then for the split second, it was like all pandemonium. There were things falling from the heavens. It was all around us. In fact, it was so much to take in. You can't even like, I don't know how I could ever remember it all, because it was like just incredible. And all that happened at one time with the roommates, and it happened that night. And then after that, things were just different. The world was different. There was you could see in the power lines, we were able to see like the energy coming from the trees. We could see energy coming from the power lines. You could see all of this. It was incredible. And there was like these orbs that were this is a true story. And I always like laugh about it, because it's like, you don't understand. I'm not that, I'm not, dude, I'm not that guy. I'm not that dude. I'm not that guy that, whatever claim that even, remotely, be cool with that kind of stuff. I mean, it wasn't really, I loved astronomy. I love looking at the sky and stuff, but yeah, I always think about that kind of stuff happens to you, and it never leaves you. It never leaves you. You'll never look up at the stars, and you'll never experience you'll never see the same things or look at them the same again. You just won't, because that there is something up there that is a part of everything that we are, and it plays a huge role in importance in our lives. It's not just little balls of gas, millions and millions of light years away. These are this whole thing, this whole construct is it's something that we're all a part of, and it's all something designed for us. And that's what you take out of it. You realize that in the grand scope of things, you humbly accept the fact that you are very small, and that God is very great. And at the end of the day, you just thank him for giving you the opportunity to experience life. And that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. Anyway, guys, have a great rest of your night, and a great Tuesday coming up. I'm feeling better, and now, so yeah, I'm hoping to totally be over this cold, and yeah, it's definitely getting better for me. So anyway, y'all, it's been great hanging out with you tonight, and get some sleep out there. Okay. Love you all. Take care, and God bless. Good night.